Unsportsmanlike content.
Ladies and gentlemen, Unsportsmanlike content is finally back. It is January 28th, 2024, and the boys are back in town. My name is Harry Loomis. I'm here with Thomas Fornes. Tommy, how you doing?
Fantastic, my brother.
That's good to hear. And I saved this one for last for a reason. Kenan Bielavats is back in the building, and we're going to get right to it. Kenan, as we all know, you are a diehard Detroit Lions fan. NFC Championship. You never thought you'd see the day, but you saw the day, and unfortunately, the ride has come to an end with a loss to the San Francisco 49ers. How are you this evening? And let's get your thoughts out of the way.
Well, Harry, it was rough. The evening was going by perfect, and then the Lions game happened. Look, before I get started on this rant, one hell of a season that we had. Everyone had us winning our division coming into the season, but no one expected us to go to the NFC Championship. They're like, yeah, they'll win their division and they get bounced first round or wild card. And then spectacular season. Only 5 losses, and then face the Rams in the playoffs. People had us like, yeah, okay, Cinderella story's over. Matt Stafford is going to take care of his former team. That didn't happen. Baker Mayfield came into town. That didn't happen. And I was hyped. As you guys know, like I was texting the group chat repeatedly. I'm like, this is our year. This is our year. And the first half, it was definitely our year. Jameson Williams, first of all, what one hell of a game that guy's had. He's been through a lot, injuries, not legal issues, but suspension issues. Just to see him on that field, like he's our wide receiver number 2, one hell of a year. Montgomery, Gibbs, everything was going perfect. And then like Icarus flying too close to the sun, I got too comfortable. And I should have seen it coming. I should have known that we were to blow up eventually, but I was like, Dan Campbell can do no wrong. He's the man. And what did Dan Campbell do? It all went wrong.
Let me ask you something. Late in the first half, you guys were in the red zone. You didn't get the touchdown. You ended up settling for the field goal. Obviously, I think you're like 3 yards out on that play. Were you okay with settling for the field goal there? Were you kind of a little bit uneasy that you guys didn't end up with the touchdown? Because 28-7 versus 24-7 is a huge difference, especially just talking about momentum going into the tunnel with the Niners getting the ball to start the second half.
Honestly, I wanted us to go for it in a situation like that. 21-7, if we wouldn't have gotten, I still would have been okay with it. 28, I would have been overly eager, happy with it. But 24, I can't really complain, like we were up by 21 going into the half, and our defense just disappeared. I mean, I think it was 27 straight points that the 49ers scored at one point, and then it got to 34. We tied it up with 56 seconds left in the game, and then I just don't get it. I don't understand why Dan Campbell decided to go for it. Thomas referred to this earlier in our text, that Dan Campbell seemed a little bit afraid of overtime, like he didn't trust his guys. I would understand if this was a Lions team a year ago or when he took over, but you're in year 3 of the head coach of the Detroit Lions. You got to have faith in your boys. You got to have faith that the defense is going to get stops. I understand that the offense second half basically was non-existent, but if you got a chance to get points in a playoff atmosphere, getting a 4th down stop is crucial. Getting a 4th down stop in your own stadium, that's electric. That's energy. And the 49ers fed off that energy, and congratulations to them.
Tommy, you have any thoughts?
First off, Kenan, I know you didn't mean that. Congratulations. So just
no, but to save face, to save face.
I'm curious to see. I would have loved to have been in the room when that ball hit your defender's helmet and bounced right into the hands of Brandon Ayuk. What was your live reaction to that?
Black magic. Brock Purdy, Black Magic, Mr. Irrelevant, whatever you want to call him, that I couldn't believe it. I just was so out of it. I'm like, it was like an out of body experience. I'm like, did this actually just happen? Please tell me this isn't happening. Because a little voice in the back of my head said, you lost, right? I'm like, no, there's no way. And just luck. They were the better team in the second half, though. I mean,
me and Harry agreed that moment right there was when we we kind of felt that the momentum had completely
Yeah.
shifted and it was not looking good for our boy Kenan.
Yeah, you don't. That's kind of the thing, that's such a crazy bounce. I feel like you don't end up with a bounce like that. That's so beneficial. If they don't make that catch, who knows what happens?
Kind of,
You don't get a bounce like that and then end up losing the game. You know what I mean?
it kind of reminded me of when the Giants and the Patriots were facing off in the Super Bowl, that helmet catch. I'm like, oh my god, here we go. But what can you do, man?
I want to go back to Dan Campbell's play calling though, because Dan Campbell, we've always known, his aggression is his biggest asset and his biggest weakness. He came into the introductory press conference talking about he's going to bite off kneecaps and everything like that. We know he's a guy that's not afraid to go for it. Greg Olson even called it on the broadcast in the fourth quarter when they went for it. He said, didn't even think about it. He's going to send out his guy. He's going to keep his guys out there. Fourth down, they're going to go for it. But what I don't understand is why then didn't you go for it in the second quarter when you're in the red zone? I get you want to take the points, but if you're this aggressive and you're playing that good in the first half, talk about a shift in momentum going into that tunnel, just scoring a touchdown. They're done 21 at their own home field with a chance at the Super Bowl. They had all the momentum in there, and then they settled for a field goal as opposed to the fourth quarter. They had no momentum whatsoever. They gave up 27 straight points, and all of a sudden Campbell thinks they're going to pull off a 4th and 3. I didn't understand that decisioning whatsoever.
I found it weird. I didn't understand why we were playing passive up so much, and we decided to play aggressive when we were down 2 minutes left in the game. In the NFL, you have to be on your A mode 24/7, and especially in the playoffs. If you're not, if you play down or play passively, teams will make you pay. People realize that this San Francisco 49ers team, they have come back from so many big deficits that you can't give them any space, any opportunity to come back. And Dan Campbell with those two times we should have kicked it. We would have been up three scores, and the Lions would have been in Vegas with the Chiefs. But I just don't understand. It's reckless play calling, but he will learn from that. He's going to learn from that. He's going to become even a better coach next season. And it's just in that moment, I'm just like, why? Like I don't have an answer for it. That is something that you have to ask the man himself. I'm frustrated, but there's nothing I could have done there.
And I feel like you have to give him his flowers. You mentioned all the deficits that the Niners have been through just this season. That doesn't begin to cover what the Niners have been through the past few years. Just in the Kyle Shanahan era, he came in right after he was with the Falcons when they blew the 20-3 lead in the Super Bowl. We all remember that. He came in first year. The Niners team was terrible. They get Jimmy Garoppolo at the trade deadline. They won like 6 of their last 7 games. They look great at the end of the year. 2018, Jimmy G hurt out for the year. 2019, team's fully healthy. 13-3, make the Super Bowl. 2020, injuries galore, miss the playoffs. 2021, stay healthy, make it to the championship game. Last year, incredible team. They get Christian McCaffrey, and they're flying towards the end of the year. Injuries galore in the conference championship game, lose. Now they're going back to another Super Bowl. It's just really impressive to see the turnaround that the Niners have made, even though I think we were all rooting for the Lions. You have to respect just the turnaround, the job that Kyle Shanahan and company have done there in the past, 7-8 years or so.
100%. Like when you think of the NFC, you think of the 49ers and you think of the Eagles. I can now say, as much as I don't want to say it, the NFC runs through them.
I would agree. I mean, every year, if they're healthy, they're a lockdown guarantee to at least make it to this weekend. I mean, I can't remember a lot of teams that were this consistently good and consistently made it past 2 rounds in the playoffs. You talk about teams like the Cowboys, they make the playoffs just about every year, and they can never get to this point. They haven't made it there since 1996. So it's
I
just
just want to say,
talk
my
about
bad,
it.
Harry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just want to
go
say
ahead.
that the Cowboys. How do you feel that the Lions made an NFC Championship game before you since what? 1990s, 1980, 19.
I think it was 96. Yeah.
96, 30 plus years. No, 20 something years.
27 years. Use that
Yeah,
Missouri Western education.
yeah, shout out Dr. James Caribou.
James
But
was not your math teacher. Don't shout him out for that. Don't shout him out for you
That's
not being able
brutal.
to do mental math.
whatever. But I'm I'm just happy that we made it this far. Next season is going to be absolutely spectacular. Our draft picks were perfect this year. Gibbs and Laporta. It's going to be so good watching those two guys develop next year, and I'm already looking forward to the draft just to see where we can improve on. Definitely our secondary, definitely that needs some work, but I'm excited.
I can smell the cope through the screen right now.
So,
Yeah, Kenan is coping hard right now, ladies and gentlemen. I am wondering, is Jameson Williams for real, or do you think this was a one-off performance here?
that is, I was always a big fan of Jameson Williams, still am. That kid is going to be special paired with Sam Brown, with Laporta, with Gibbs, with Montgomery, with Goff, and you give this team just one more year. Next, I firmly believe that Jameson Williams is going to have the best season of his career next year, bearing he stays healthy and doesn't have no other gambling issues. But he's for real. He's going to be good for us, and I'm excited.
Honest
Okay.
prediction, Kenan, what do you expect the Lions to do next year? How far do you think they'll make the playoffs again? How far do they go? Because obviously, the Lions were the front runner this year. The Vikings kind of fell off. They might Kirk Cousins. There's always talk about, is he going to stay? The Bears are on the come up, but I don't think they're there quite yet. The Packers turned a lot of heads in this playoff run. Jordan Love looks like he's going to be a very, very good quarterback. What do you expect record-wise and everything out of the Lions next year?
13-4, 13-4, maybe 14-3. We should win our division next year. But Jordan Love, I'm not gonna lie, he puts a little bit of fear into my heart. First you had Brett Favre, now you have Aaron Rodgers, now you have Jordan Love. That's first of all phenomenal draft classes by Green Bay, but this team knows what they need to work on, how to work on it, when to go aggressive, when not to go aggressive. This team is a Super Bowl contending team next year. Going to have a big offseason, going to draft some good players, going to sign some good players. And it's just, I expect us to come out the NFC next year. I don't think Dallas is on that level. Philadelphia is declining brutally and quickly. It's literally us and the 49ers. I'm Super Bowl. That's my expectation. I won't take anything less because we have spent so long trying to get out from, okay, where they're trash, they're horrible. I don't want us to be mediocre. I want us to always strive to the top, and I want us to be competitive. That's the number one thing. I don't want us to roll over like how we used to in the past. Dan Campbell has stopped this team from rolling over. This is a good learning experience. I know I don't like losing, but that locker room is bonding right now. A traumatic loss like that's only going to get you closer to your brothers, your coaches, your teammates, and you're going to learn from it. And it's going to leave a sour feeling in your mouth for the next 6 months, 7 months through training camp, through the preseason. But come game one, Ford Field 2024, Lions are going to come out guns blazing. We're going to win our division, and we're going to win the Super Bowl next year.
And you mentioned it, obviously, I think this is just the beginning of a special era for the Lions. I think there's no reason why they can't be very, very good for the next 3 to 4 years at minimum, but we got to move on to this year's Super Bowl. The 49ers win, and they're going to move on to face the Kansas City Chiefs and make their 4th Super Bowl in 5 years with a 17-10 road win at Baltimore against the top-seeded Baltimore Ravens. And I want to pass this on to you guys. In my opinion, this game said so much more. I know Mahomes had a good game. This game showed a lot more about the Ravens than it did the Chiefs. I just feel like the Ravens had made so many crucial mistakes that cost them in this game because this game was 100% winnable.
Thomas, go ahead. Floor is yours.
Oh man, it sucks because Flowers had such a good season, and he truly was the GOAT in the end. He was the
That was a brutal stretch. The taunting penalty, the fumble in the end zone, punching the bench or whatever, and like cutting his finger open. That was a really brutal stretch for the guy.
Can you remember a rookie who had a late season blow up like that?
I feel like I should.
I mean, I'm just wondering how he moves forward from this.
I mean, that team's good. I think Harbaugh's a very, very good coach. I think if there's any environment where you can learn from mistakes like that and only use it as motivation to get better, I think Baltimore is the place because they're not going to be. They should be very good for years to come if they stay healthy.
Yeah, if he makes that a Baltimore alive tonight.
I
I
I
think
would hope he'd be okay in that department, but you never know.
Oh,
I believe that Odell Beckham's going to pick the kid up. Like, oh, Zay Flowers, like you said, exploded. But we've seen Odell explode. Odell knows what it takes to be in a situation like that. I mean, 2013 to 2016, the man was a constant emotional roller coaster. He's mellowed out just a little bit, not just a little bit, a lot. He's going to pick the rookie up. He's going to say, yo, it's okay. Yeah, we lost, but it's not the end of the world. Focus on next season. He's going to have a spectacular next season. Odell Beckham's going to make sure the kid's going to be just fine. I'm not worried about it.
That was pretty telling to me that you brought up OBJ. Obviously, everyone kind of called him out for his issues, kind of on and off the field. Kind of everyone had the diva label on him when he was back in New York and even in Cleveland when he basically got ran out of town when he and Baker Mayfield were having their issues. You did notice Odell was the guy that kind of put his arm around Lamar, around Zay Flowers and everyone and kind of consoled them a little bit. And I think we're seeing a very mature Odell Beckham, who's still a good wide receiver, can contribute to a team. I think that's a really impressive turnaround and a guy that's kind of learned from his experiences in the NFL saying, hey, man, things happen. We all make mistakes. Win as a team, lose as a team. That team's going to stay very, very good. And I think that was a really cool thing to see.
And the last 4 seasons, Odell's been struggling, with the Browns, with the Rams. His best season yet, in the last 4 years. He's going to have a way better production next year. And God, you still got to watch out for the Ravens. Like, the Chiefs won that game, but the Ravens lost it more.
Absolutely. And I think just as big as the Zay Flowers mistakes that Tommy was bringing up, which obviously, I mean, you're talking about a 7-point swing right there. You in a game you lost by 7, but the other swing, Lamar Jackson, the drive like right after that, threw it into triple coverage in the end zone. I mean, in what world was that the right play call? I get they were arguing about potential defensive pass interference on the play, but he still threw it into triple coverage. It had to go through 3 guys to even get to whoever the receiver was. I don't even know who it was. Just it seemed like an absolutely indefensible play by a guy that I think is a good quarterback that's obviously going to win the MVP this year, but time and time again we're seeing Lamar Jackson just faltering in the playoffs. I don't like what's it going to take for this guy to figure it out and get through.
you guys not think that was a flag?
I don't know if it matters, honestly. I don't think he was getting that ball regardless. Because the same thing, it would have gone through 3 guys. I think, in my opinion, that's not a catchable ball.
In the moment, it was very bang, bang. But throwing in the triple coverage, like Harry said, you just can't do that. You just can't. If one man has 3 guys on him, somebody's open, and you're still throwing to him. Like, I don't understand that play. But I mean, the Chiefs' defense is for real. We got to give Steve Spagnuolo his flowers, man. I know when he was the head coach for the Rams, it was horrible, guys. But as a defensive coordinator, wow.
Yeah, he did his job, and the Chiefs' offense was struggling big time in the second half. And the only reason why they were able to keep it going was their rock solid defense. Definitely a lot of credit to Steve Spagnuolo and that staff. And the Chiefs, I think we can all agree this is the worst team in the Mahomes era, and they're still going to the Super Bowl. And in my opinion, they're the favorites to win it. It's just, even when they're not at their best, Mahomes had a solid day today, but 17 points, he should be able to beat the Chiefs. But it's just something about them. They have that Brady Belichick Patriots feel where it's just inevitable. They're going to find a way to win. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's a call, if it's one bang bang play, if it's mistakes by the other team, just something about them. They're going to find a way to win every year. And you don't have to be a fan of them, but I respect the hell out of that. Just being able to win basically at all costs. Just win anyway, like Al Davis's Raiders used to say. That's the Kansas City Chiefs.
I remember. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Thomas.
Sorry, I was going to say it does make it a lot harder to respect the Chiefs when you're surrounded by their fans every day, living in Kansas City here. I do want to play a little game here. What do you guys think the opening line for the Super Bowl is right now?
I would say record-wise, I think you have to go Niners. I'll say Niners -3.5.
What about you, Kenan?
Chiefs 3.5.
Okay, so opening lines right now are Niners -2.5.
I'll take the win.
We're gonna do predictions for that?
Yeah, we got to do predictions. Like I said, I think the Chiefs are the favorites to win. Um, I don't know. Looking if they both play the way they did today, I don't know who I'm taking to win. But I think at the end of the day, I have questions about Kyle Shanahan's late Super Bowl ability. You know, I talk so much about what he's been able to do as a head coach with a healthy team, but 2016 he was with the Falcons when they collapsed. 2019 against the Chiefs, some questionable play calls. They lost that game. 2021 in the conference championship against the Rams. They had that game at the palm of their hands and couldn't get it done. I don't know if this is going to be the year for Kyle Shanahan to get it done. Obviously, they're going to have plenty of opportunities, but something tells me the Chiefs are winning their second straight Super Bowl. I will say the Chiefs win 28-23.
I like that.
Tommy,
No.
what about you?
Gonna-
I think the X factor in this game, and this is going to be the guy's breakout game, his I arrived moment, Isaiah Pacheco, Harry. I remember when he was a rookie just last year, and you and I were talking about him like this guy is going to be fundamental for the Chiefs offense. And last 18 months, the guy is. He's going to have a great game. Like you said, I'm worried about the 49ers defense. If it's like the Chiefs offense is inevitable, like you said, and I'm worried about that defense. That defense is crumbling as we speak. What has Chase Young really done for the Niners since he's arrived?
I mean, no
Nothing.
big moments, but
Nick Bosa.
I mean, have they lost since then besides the loss of the Ravens?
Yeah, I think Pacheco's going to be phenomenal against Niners. I'm going to say it is going to be a shootout, though. I'm going to say Chiefs 31, 49ers 28, 27, 31, 28 Niners. Chiefs, sorry.
Are you sure on any of your picks right now?
I'm sorry. It's been a long day.
All right, we'll say 31-28 Chiefs. Tommy.
Kenan basically almost stole my score exactly. I think we get a little bit of deja vu here. I think Niners get up early. I think we see Chiefs surge in the second half. And I hate to say it, but I think there's going to be a storybook ending here.
Oh, God.
I can see it being 24-24, late in the fourth quarter, Mahomes with the ball, driving down last minute, corner in the end zone, Travis Kelce touchdown. Internet explodes, NFL rejoices, and the Swifties live happily forever after.
And you know what Andy Reid says to Kyle Shanahan? Shake it off.
If that happens, if Kelce gets the game-winning touchdown with no time left, this is going to be the most cheesiest thing we're ever going to see. Taylor Swift probably going to slap him for it. This is almost for losing and then kiss him for saying, at least you got the job done. I hate it.
I thought it was corny last year when Travis Kelce called the mayor of Cincinnati a jabroni. I think this would take the cake.
Oh, man.
I just hope Taylor Swift isn't on the Madden 25 cover. That's all I want.
You think Swifties are playing Madden, Kenan?
I mean, man, the Swifties probably are knowledge in football now. You can probably have them run a team.
No, they'll buy consoles if she's on the cover.
The Taylor Swift Madden pack, like get vouchers for
a
concert or something like that.
VIP access, first access to ticket sales.
What position do you think Taylor Swift will play in the NFL, though?
Placeholder.
I was about to say long snapper, like
we're gonna have like a 99 Ultimate Team my card of Taylor Swift, like just throwing dots to Travis Kelce.
Oh man, she's gonna do the halftime show next year. The Chiefs are gonna come back.
How excited are you guys about the halftime show this year? We got Usher. I'm pretty excited about it, honestly.
It was Usher. I thought it was a DJ like doing it live.
No, that's like I think that was like the conference championship. Some random weird stuff like that, but it's Usher for the main Super Bowl halftime show.
I mean, the guy can dance, he can sing, but honestly, can you name 5 Usher songs?
Yeah. DJ Got Us Falling in Love, Confessions,
My boo. OMG. You got it bad.
Okay, but
Got It Bad, Scream.
I don't know any of these songs.
I think Usher's one of those guys that you'll be surprised how many songs you
Think of
actually.
you. You remind me. There goes my baby.
All right, we get it, Kenan. We get it.
Usher's in my playlist. Okay.
Everyone's playlist. Okay, let me ask you guys another question. If you guys saw no NFL all season long, but you purely watched today's games between the Chiefs and the Niners, who would you pick? I think based off solely today, I go the Niners because of how resilient they were in the second half. I think the Chiefs were more playing not to lose, but the Niners played to win. And I think if you were purely watching on that, I think the Niners would be the team to beat. But again, there's just so many outside circumstances you have to consider.
I mean,
Yeah, both games were kind of fluky.
They were.
So, I mean, watching today, the Lions were by far the better team. I don't think you can say that about the Ravens.
I would agree. I think the Ravens were definitely the better team, especially in the second half. But you can only shoot yourself in the foot so many times before you can't walk. So
I mean,
that's kind of what we saw today.
holding the Chiefs scoreless in the second half, you should have won that game. You should have won that game.
Holding the Chiefs to 17 in general, you should win that game every time. That's your chance to beat them. You're not going to beat them in too many shootouts. When you hold them at bay, that's your shot.
Kenan might want us to move on here.
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should move on.
For my mental sake, please.
I think we should. I think we should start now. We're gonna introduce the trivia section a little bit early this time. We're gonna talk about bringing back some other conversations. We'll try to bring back the 5 minute fast break at some point. We'll try to bring back a buy or sell, blues talk, all that kind of good stuff. But we're gonna move on straight to the trivia section now. We're gonna switch it up a little bit. It used to be we used to do it inspired by the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. That's no longer the case. This time I'm gonna be the moderator when the master has become the apprentice. So this time, instead of you got to know STL, we have this NFL trivia challenge card game. I got this as a gift for Christmas from my girlfriend Ashley's mom. Very good investment indeed. So we
Shout out Ashley's mom, man.
Shout out Mrs. Norville. We got 5 questions on here. I'm gonna read them off, and they're gonna say answer when they think they got it, and whoever says it first is gonna shoot out an answer. If they get it right, obviously they get it right. If they get it wrong, other one's gonna have a chance to steal. It's 5 questions, so whoever gets the most right. Boys, you ready?
I
Yes, sir.
am.
All right. Question number 1. In 2018, who set the NFL record for consecutive passing attempts without an interception with 402?
Answer.
Kenan?
Jameis Winston.
Incorrect. Tommy?
Matt Stafford.
Also incorrect. Kenan, Winston was known for interceptions, not for avoiding them. This quarterback was definitely known for avoiding them, Mr. Aaron Rodgers.
Oh,
I could have swore Jameis Winston had a really good streak, just not turning the ball. Maybe that was 2015. I was thinking of.
Might have been for his standards, but he's the guy that threw 30 touchdowns and 30 picks in a year.
What a number.
That's an insane number. Okay, this is the only one I'm not certain you guys will get. I wouldn't know this one. Who retired in 2016 as the all-time leader in receptions by a Steelers tight end? Seen a lot of confidence.
Answer possibly.
Tommy?
Heath Miller.
Correct.
Let's
Tommy's
go.
on the point. On the board.
I don't watch Steelers, so
Yeah, I don't watch Steelers. If it's not like Ben, Bell, or Brown, wasn't gonna get it. Okay, Tommy's up 1-0 through 2 questions. Question number 3. Who were on September 7th, 2003, Anquan Bolden set the record for.
September was composed by Alay Willis.
Are you kidding me? We're gonna get copyrighted now because what are you doing?
I'm just messing around. I'm sorry, guys.
Silly goofy guy. I thought I was going crazy for a second. All right, question number 3. We might have to deduct a point for Kenan here. On
Computer
September
went crazy.
7th,
Does he have his AI bot going for trivia right now? Is that
Nah.
what I'm hearing?
Bro's got ChatGPT to try to answer questions
Yeah,
and
I'm
give
just-
James Winston.
All right, 2003.
I had it open for my Instagram comments.
All right. On September 7th, 2003, Anquan Bolden set the record for receiving yardage by a rookie in his NFL debut with 217 yards playing for what team?
Oh,
Andrew.
Anquan Bolden. Good start.
I should know this.
You said Andrew.
Okay, look,
I mean, I only associate Anquan Boldin with one team, so I don't. Can I go with the Arizona Cardinals?
You can, and that's the correct answer.
Let's go.
Tommy is up 2-0. Kenan, you're gonna need.
comeback season. Don't worry.
We can only hope. This one you guys are gonna get. This is gonna be a matter of who can chime in first. Who caught the Minneapolis Miracle to give the Vikings a stunning last?
Stephon Diggs.
Tommy is up 3-0. I noticed that you guys are forgetting to say answer, but that's all right. We'll let it
Oh,
go.
I'm sorry.
Question number 5. This one you guys should also get. What running back is widely known by his nickname, the Bus?
Answer:
Tommy?
Jerome Bettis.
And Tommy takes it 4-0.
I just got swept.
You did. And you tried to cheat.
Look, it was that Heath Miller question. I had no idea.
What, were you looking it up? Like, are you
Nah.
trying to fact check me?
Honestly, no. I just hit Google that microphone. And I was like, okay. And then I guess I didn't turn it off. And
Yeah, man. Once I hit Heath Miller, I knew it was my day. So.
I was about to say that's like the bounce in the Niners game. You
I
don't pull off
no
Heath
idea.
Miller and then not win the trivia game. All
That
right.
was
Good
just
game, Kenan.
Well, it
it's
was
not.
the game.
Great.
All right. I guess it's that time. If you guys know unsportsmanlike content, you know that the belle of the ball is the weekly draft. We are bringing it back. This week, the draft was suggested by Thomas Fornes, and he delivered a beautiful suggestion. The top 4 or Mount Rushmore personal heartbreaking losses. And I pre-established the drafting order. And since one of us experienced one today, they will be going first. Kenan, we're going to snake draft order. You, sir, are on the clock.
With that, snake draft is like whoever like gets the last picks again, right?
Right. So Tommy's going second. I'm going third. So for the second pick, I'll go first.
Okay, I got you. Well, my first pick is the 2015-2016 Golden State Warriors, 73-9, one hell of a year, breaking the most wins in a single season, breezing through the playoffs. You're up 3-1 against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then LeBron James absolutely goes GOAT mode and comes back. First player to ever do that. And, I mean, when you think of heartbreaking moments, well, for me, I'm like, that's demoralizing. Your soul gets crushed, your hopes get crushed, your dreams, everything. Because no team has bowled in a 3-1 NBA Finals before that. And how did you come back with that? How do you come back from that? Well, we all know how the Golden State Warriors came back from that. But in the moment, you just gotta stand back and be like, "Wow, did this really just happen?"
Kenan, starting with the 15-16 Warriors. We are doing personal heartbreaking losses, right? Like how it affected.
Yeah, this is supposed to be like your own soul was crushed here. So
All right. I misheard. I'm sorry.
No, that's all
that's
right.
all right.
We figured it out quickly. Kenan, we'll let you repick. I assume you weren't personally heartbroken by the 15-16 Warriors.
Today,
Yeah, I kind of figured that's where we were gonna start.
I thought but yeah, today, Lions, Niners.
Do we need to go
I
back
don't-
to a long diatribe on why it was heartbreaking, or did we kind of cover that in the first half of this episode?
We covered it for the first 25 minutes of this episode.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
what I figured.
Kenan, you should take this time to figure out your other two if you didn't answer them too.
No, I have a couple now.
Okay. All right. I think we should kind of set the tone for these because we all have personal experiences involved. So I'll kind of take you back in a little story time for each one of these. All right. I'll start with the first one, in chronological order. 2002. All right. We've got 6-year-old Thomas in his living room, surrounded by family, watching the Rams play the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And I mean, a hell of a game. Rams came back, tied it with a touchdown with a minute 37 remaining in the fourth quarter. And then we see the emergence of a young Tom Brady leading his team on a game-winning drive, capped off by an Adam Vinatieri iconic field goal. I think that was the first time I remember crying over a sports game. I really took that one tough. And RIP St. Louis Rams.
Yeah, I think that's a really good pick. Obviously, I was 1 year old at the time, so I can't really include that one for me personally. Um, but just imagine what a second Super Bowl in 3 years would have done to the Rams. If like it would, you have to wonder if that would have potentially kept the Rams in town if they win that game. Do they keep players? Do they keep executives and everything like that? And does a ride keep going? Because I don't think the greatest show on turf was ever built to last, but I think just the environment, the excitement that they brought could have lasted a lot longer.
Yeah, that team was 14-2 in the regular season as well.
They were crazy. That was Warner's second MVP year, right?
Yeah, man, we really had a great stretch.
Torrey Holt should be in the Hall of Fame. I still can't believe he's not in it yet.
Agreed.
All right, Tommy has the Rams, Patriots. I believe that was Super Bowl 36, the beginning of the evil empire that was the New England Patriots. I'm not going to go in chronological order. This one is actually relatively recent. Obviously, not as recent as Kenan's, which was, I don't know, 2 hours ago. I'm going to go to the 2021-2022 St. Louis Blues. Obviously 3 years removed from the Cup. Had a great year in 1920 before the bubble, lost in the first round of that. Pretty bad year in 21, made the playoffs, got swept by the Avalanche. 21-22, the team is fantastic. Tarasenko finally comes back and he's healthy and he has the best year of his career. Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou breakout. Pavel Buchnevich, we got a trade from Sammy Blais and he's fantastic on the team. We had so much depth. Everyone was just firing on all cylinders. We beat the Wild in the first round. Jordan Binnington comes back. He'd had some down years, was an absolute brick wall in the playoffs. And then game 3, tied 1-1 with Colorado. He gets crashed into and he's out for the rest of the playoffs. And I still think and sit there and wonder if he stayed healthy, what could have happened? Because everyone was saying whoever won that series was going to win the Cup, and the Avalanche ended up winning the Cup. But lost game 3, game 4, down 3-1. Game 5 was maybe the best game of hockey I've ever seen. The Blues came back from, I think it was a 3-0 deficit, came back and tied it. McKinnon scored an unbelievable goal, took the lead back, came back and tied it in the last minute, scored in overtime to win it. And then game 6, this was actually Ashley's birthday, so I was watching it with her whole family in the living room. While gave up a late goal to tie it with like 6 minutes left. Looked like they were going to force OT, and then with 5 seconds left, Avalanche depth player Darren Helm gets the puck from the boards and just fires it far post and in. Game over, season over, and that was it for the Blues. Fell apart the next year. Tarasenko's gone, O'Reilly's gone. Who else is gone? Perron's gone, Barbashev's gone. It's just kind of one of those what could have been years, because I really think if Binnington stays healthy, we could be talking about the Blues winning 2 Stanley Cups in 4 years. But I guess it just wasn't meant to be. That was my first pick. Before I get too sad, obviously this is a snake draft, second round. My pick is up again. And I'm going to go with this is my only college basketball pick I'm going to have. I have the 2011-2012 Mizzou Tigers. Best Mizzou basketball team of my lifetime by a mile. I think they were 30-4 in the regular season, were a 2 seed, won the Big 12 conference, had an awesome win in Columbia against KU that year. That was the Marcus Dedmon game. Tommy, I'm sure you remember that very fondly, right?
Blocked it out of my mind, actually.
Well, I'm glad to bring it back. But 2 seed, like I said, looked like they had a shot at doing something really special that year. The Pressey brothers were playing really well. You had Kim English, Marcus Denman, Ricardo Ratcliffe. That team was fan-freaking-tastic under Frank Haith. And then you lose in the first round to unknown Norfolk State. Phil Pressey had a 3 to win it at the buzzer, and it didn't fall. And then that was it. The team went to the SEC, was having some really, really bad years after that, made the tournament when Michael Porter Jr. was there, lost right away, made it again, lost, and then they finally won another tournament game last year, and now they're bad again this year. That kind of felt like a diamond in the rough where it was the one chance where they really could have made a special run, but didn't happen. So those are my first 2 picks. I have the 21-22 Blues and Mizzou from 2011-12. Tommy, you are back on the clock.
You kind of brought my mood up with that last one, Harry.
Oh, great. Glad I could do that.
I have a lot here, so I'm actually going to skip through one that I was going to talk about, which was KU Syracuse 2003, where, that Melo-led team beat us and they blocked our shot. That could have sent it to overtime in the last second. I vividly remember crying there too. But I will move on to October 19th, 2005, which was the last game at the Old Busch Stadium. So this was Game 6, St. Louis, Houston, National League Championship Series. So I didn't have tickets, and my dad said that we were going to try to get some from scalpers. So we traveled downtown, right? We did the rounds, tried to find tickets, and man, people were the prices were outrageous. So we didn't end up landing tickets, and a news anchorman walked up to my dad, Channel 5, because they were doing a little series about the scalpers and the ticket prices. And so I'm there on live television, tears forming in my eyes, just a sad little kid. And my dad just talking about the outrageous ticket prices. Of course, we go on to lose that game. I never get to step foot into that stadium again. And that was one of the saddest moments of my young life.
I don't know if I ever went into Old Busch Stadium. I think the first game I remember was 2006, the first year at the new stadium. But that's always one of the things I wish I could go back and just catch a game there, because looking back at old games, that place is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, so dude, the environment was insane. I still remember being there for the Edmonds walk-off. Was that 2004?
Yeah, that was 04 against Houston as well. They played in the CS 2 years in a row.
Yeah, that stadium was special. So I was really upset I couldn't experience that one last time.
Can I get the link to that clip just to see like Lil Thomas crying?
Man, if I could dig that up, you would have it.
Hey, Tommy, send me a video of you crying when you were a kid.
Not a great visual for young Tommy.
All right, Tommy has the Rams Patriots Super Bowl 36 and the 2005 Cardinals as his first 2 picks. Kenan has the today Detroit Lions, and whatever his next pick is, he's got the next 2.
I'm going to start off painting you a picture like Thomas did. The year is 2014. Bosnia has just qualified for the first time ever to get into a World Cup. We lose to Argentina. No, we beat Iran. Nigeria, Bosnia, I remember this vividly. Me and my dad, we were watching the game. And if we would have drew that game, we would have gone on to the next round to face France. Our striker, Edin Dzeko, scores a goal. But the assistant referee, declares it offside. And in that moment, the entire house erupted because, you boys know I'm Bosnian. And in Bosnia, soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, is the #1 sport. My dad pissed. My mom crying, sister crying. All my friends are upset, and we're all texting each other. That is a clear onside goal. That I cried after the game because I'm like, wow, we just lost our opportunity to move on to the next round, because that is the only time that Bosnia got a chance to participate. And just to go out like that on your first time because a referee just thought you were offside, but by clear as day you're onside, it still stings me to my still stings my soul to this day. It still stings everybody's. if you ask a Bosnian, what do you think about the 2014 World Cup? You probably would get cursed out first, and then just tears. Like
Who did
that
they
was
lose to in that game?
Hmm?
Who did they lose to in that game? I don't know if you said
Nigeria 1-0.
Nigeria. Okay.
Nigeria, and if we would have tied with them, because Nigeria drew with Iran in the next match, we would have been through by goal differential. We would have faced France. Probably would have got killed. I won't lie to you, but just for Bosnia to be in the round of 16, that would have just made every Bosnian's dream. So, yeah.
Have they been back?
Nope. We're absolutely horrible.
Not
The
sure.
golden
Not sugarcoating it.
Nope, our golden generation's over. We have a bunch of players from Bosnia, but all the good players, Serbia's grabbing them, Croatia's grabbing them. Politics, what can you do about it?
All right. Kenan's got 2 picks down, and he is on the clock with round number 3 kicking off.
It's a basketball one. Growing up, I was a big Dirk fan. I had the jersey. I imitated the one-legged fadeaway, headband, everything. I wanted to grow my hair out and have goatee like his too. 2006 against the Miami Heat, they got absolutely highway robbery. Game 5, especially, Dwayne Wade shooting 25 free throws, more than any Maverick put together. Clearly, the screw was in, and I think I'm not certain. The referee called a timeout for the Mavericks, which prevented them from advancing the ball. And I was just like what's going on with my dad? And I'm just like, well, what's going on? What's going on? They're getting screwed, son. And I just cried. And then game 6 happened, 95-92. But God, I cried like a baby after that because I know I was 6, 5, 6.
It was 0506.
June 20th. Yeah, so yeah, I just turned 6, and I remember Jason Terry missed the crucial 3-pointer, and God, I cried. But 5 years later, we got it back.
You did, and you beat the team that took it from you.
Beat the super team, the crybaby, the choke, the Mister disappeared in the fourth quarter, getting locked up by JJ Barea, who was 6 feet tall. Good times.
Hell, if he's got this much beef with LeBron, maybe the 15-16 Warriors were heartbreaking. You never know.
It was cool to hate on LeBron back in the day, but now I'm just like, wow, can't believe I did that.
I mean, some people still do, and they enjoy it. I mean, Skip Bayless still has a job, so
Kind of like how you hate Joel Embiid.
I do hate Joel Embiid. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in another podcast. Tommy, your 3rd pick.
All right, 2007. So I'm in middle school here. This was the peak of Kansas-Mizzou rivalry. Of course, growing up in St. Louis, all of my school friends just hated Kansas. I was known as the Kansas kid. You know, every day, just hostile remarks thrown my way. It was like a war zone every day.
Where did you go to school?
I went to school in it was called Wildwood Middle School in West County, St. Louis.
I know Wildwood goes down like that.
Oh man, nothing like privileged white kids in sports rivalries. Let me tell you. Yeah, bad experiences all around with Mizzou fans there. Anyways, that 2007-2008 football season was one for the ages. You got undefeated Kansas heading to play Mizzou, who was also ranked very high. This was like with national championship hopes on the line. And of course, I don't know if you guys are well educated in how this game turned out. Very close. In the end, Kansas fell short, and there's an iconic image of our quarterback Todd Reesing after he got thrown into the turf, standing up with a large piece of sod hanging out of his helmet.
I know that was from that game. I've seen that picture all the time.
I see the photo of it.
I mean, that takes the cake as the most devastating loss of my life, and the name Sod Reesing is still held over my head to this day. But we did end up getting into the BCS Bowl over Mizzou because they lost in the conference championship. So it kind of ended up working in my favor.
Yeah, I never understood how Mizzou ended up from being ranked first in the nation to going to the Cotton Bowl. I never understood that how that ended up that year. That year in general was maybe the craziest college football year of all time.
Yeah, it was incredible.
I think that's the only time a two-loss team has won the national championship because LSU lost late in the year to like Arkansas or someone like that, and then KU lost, Mizzou lost, and they ended up back in the championship game and they won it. All right, cool.
I was wondering, like, did something freeze on my end?
Yeah, right. Tommy has 3 picks down. He's got the Rams Pats, the '05 Cardinals, and 2007 KU football, where he ended up making my mood better after I made his mood better with the 2011-12 Mizzou Tigers. I'm gonna close mine out with 2 picks now, and I'm gonna take you on a bit of a journey here. We're gonna start off with the 2016 Daytona 500. I was a huge Matt Kenseth fan, still am to this day, even though he's not racing. And he qualified second, which is a big deal because with Daytona, the top 2 spots are solidified, but 3 through 43, there's a qualifying race on Thursday. Even our odd numbers race the first duel, even numbers race the second duel. So even if you win, you qualify third, second, fifth, so on and so forth. So theoretically, it's not like you want to get the practice in, but you also like don't want to junk your car. And Kenseth junked his car on the last lap, meaning that instead of qualifying second, he had to start all the way at the back of the field. But his car was so good that day. Toyota in general is unbelievable. And after the last pit stop, Kenseth is leading the race. He's got 3 Toyota teammates behind him. He's got Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Busch. Hamlin far and away has the best car that day. Last lap, Kenseth looks like he's going to drive to the win. Hamlin gets the outside lane because it starts forming. The draft is so important at Daytona. They don't think he's going to get there, but at turn 3, he's all the way up to second. He gets to the outside of Kenseth. Kenseth goes up to block. Hamlin goes back underneath. Kenseth is in the wall. He falls all the way back in 14th, and Denny Hamlin ends up winning the Daytona 500. And if you want to know where I was at as a Matt Kenseth fan that day, I was heartbroken. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I didn't cry. I didn't cuss. I just sat there and just stared with a dead face. It had been a rough couple of years, and it got to the point where I wasn't even surprised that it happened because he had just a lot of bad luck around that time. So that is my 3rd pick. And the reason why we're going on a journey is my 4th pick is the same year, same driver, Matt Kenseth, second to last race. We're at Phoenix. And if he has a good run, he's going to make his way to the championship. And he's leading the last 50 laps or so, driving away. He's going to win the race. He's going to go to the championship where it's going to be him, Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards, and I think it was going to be Kyle Busch. It was close between him and Logano, but a caution comes out with 2 laps to go. And on the restart, Kenseth doesn't get a good restart, and the car to the inside of him tries to pass him. He doesn't see him, and they collide. Kenseth spins. He's out of the race, out of the championship. Joey Logano goes on to win. Jimmy Johnson goes on to win the championship. But those 2 races in the same year were absolutely brutal for me as a Kenseth fan. That was one of the hardest times as a race fan I ever went through. And the next year was his last year as a full-time driver. His team booted him. He got one last win, and that was really it for him.
It was a tough year for Harry.
It was a tough year, but you know what? We made it. We made it out alive. So that's my 4. I've got the 22 St. Louis Blues, 2012 Mizzou basketball, and then just a pair of Matt Kenseth heartbreaks. Although we could go all day with those, but I'm not going to bore you guys. That's my 4. Tommy, your final pick.
I kind of want to pull an obscure one here.
I'm about to say, I feel like I always pull the NASCAR ones out of my ass.
Okay, I was gonna go with 2013 KU Michigan, Trey Burke hitting that 3. That was a heartbreaker. I mean, we had that game in the bag.
That was an all-time game, though. That was so good.
Let me see if I can. This one just registered on my mind, so I'm not sure if I can even find like the exact year here, but I want to say it was around. I want to say I was about 8 years old. It's around 2003. Me and my dad have been going to a lot of local high school games. I went to Lafayette High School, and we had a really good basketball team that year. So I'd been to maybe like 5 home games throughout that season. We had a really good team, and we made it all the way to the Final Four for the state championship. And guess who we have to play? We have to play Poplar Bluff, who had a center by the name of Tyler Hansborough.
Oof,
No way.
no shot.
And yeah, safe to say the dream ended there, boys. That was my beginning of the hatred for Tyler Hansborough, which carried on way longer than I ever imagined. It seemed like he was in college for 8 years.
Tommy hated
Um,
Tyler Hansborough before it was cool. Just imagine that.
No, it's bad. It was really bad, and that was the only time I ever really had my heart attached to a high school team. I didn't care about the basketball team when I was in high school. I only cared when I was that 8-year-old, and Tyler Hansborough shattered every piece of fandom in my heart.
It's hard to believe that Tyler Hansbrough came from just middle of nowhere Missouri and turned into one of the best college basketball players to ever live. Just a crazy turnaround. You never would have expected it from a guy like that.
Played pretty long in the NBA too, didn't he?
He had a good run, yeah. My favorite
9
moment
years?
still where he got fouled by Ron Artest and he like tried to like mean mug him and he didn't realize it was Artest. He's like, "Oh my bad, Ron, we're good, we're good."
Oh my God, I remember that. I remember just watching it on repeat.
I about to
Oh.
say, like, that's like you do not mess with Ron Artest. It doesn't matter who you are, you do not mess with them. So
I mean,
that's Tommy's four. He's got the Rams, Patriots, the '05 Cardinals, 2007 KU, and the Lafayette basketball team losing to everyone's favorite power forward, Tyler Hansbrough. Kenan, you have the today Lions, 2014 Bosnia, the '05-'06 Mavs, and your final pick.
I'm sticking with another soccer choice. I never loved Man United. The only two people I loved on that team was Wayne Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo, and I was a big Rooney fan growing up. I had also had his jersey. 2011, 2012, I honest to God thought he was going to win the Premier League, win the Ballon d'Or, and I thought this like nothing can go wrong. Manchester City happened. Very famous. They were down 2-1. They were facing Queen's Park. Dzeko, who, as I said earlier, played for Bosnian national team, he was on City, scores goal 2-2. Okay, I'm like, okay, this is okay. Even if they draw, they still can't beat us. 3-2. I remember this vividly. Mario Batelli, perfect through ball as he's falling down to Aguero, and I hated it. I cried. I always remember this because the scream Aguero, like type it on YouTube. I despised it. I cried. I'm like, Rooney should have won. Rooney should have. Like I was tossing everything. I was unconsolable because Rooney was my guy. He was the first player that made me love, soccer, football, next to Jericho. But just, at the time, I was heartbroken, but also kind of happy because Jericho won. But he's not Rooney, and that's just it caused so much pain. And my dad came home. He's like, "Why are you crying? Jericho won the league." And I'm like, "I don't care about Jericho right now." And he was like, "What are you like? Are you even Bosnian?"
I will say, looking back, that is one of the most unbelievably electric goals you'll ever see in any highlight at any time. That call, the crowd, like every circumstance that had to happen for that to happen the way it did is one of the coolest goals you'll ever see.
And then Manchester became blue. The oil money started coming in, and you know what? It's a topic for another day. I'm not going to talk about City.
And
one of you boys, please send that goal in the chat because I need to see that.
I got
Kanan's like, I'll send you that if you send me the video of you crying.
you.
Kanan's all in on the video today. So to wrap it up, Kanan's got this year's Detroit Lions, 2014 Bosnia, the 05-06 Mavs and Man U on the final day where Man City beat them. Tommy has Super Bowl 36 where the Pats beat the Rams, the 05 Cardinals specifically not being able to get into the game, 2007 KU football, and the Lafayette team losing to Tyler Hansborough. What year was that again, Tommy?
Man,
I put down 2005 because I think it's around that time. So we'll just leave it at that. And I went with the 21-22 Blues, 2011-12 Mizzou basketball, the 2016 Daytona 500, and the 2016 fall race at Phoenix. Boys, that's a heck of a draft, and that's about a heck of a podcast. What are we excited for, boys?
More of this, more of the podcast. I don't care if we got to talk about football, baseball, soccer, basketball, wrestling, hockey, Formula One. I miss this. I miss talking with my brothers about sports, stuff that we love. Gives us an hour in the day just to forget about everything, focus on this. I miss this.
yeah, this was fantastic. It's nice catching up with the boys, talking a little ball. What I'm looking forward to, hopefully we get to see our beautiful faces in person coming up this next week. I don't know if those plans are still in the air.
I mean, I don't know. Is it in the air?
Time will tell. We'll have to figure some things out off podcast.
One second. My bad. Dan Campbell said this may have been our only shot because he doesn't think it's going to be twice as hard to get back to this point next year.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
that's pretty pessimistic of him.
Keep in mind, Kenan's going through a week where his team just lost in the NFC Championship game and his basketball team hired Doc Rivers as a head coach. This guy, I don't know how he's keeping it together as well as he appears to be. I would be in shambles.
Man.
He's not keeping it together.
Oh, we're good. We're good.
Might be some crying off pod after this.
We might have to have another podcast here pretty soon, but I'm looking forward to this as well. If you want something else, I'm looking forward to NASCAR season starts next week. We got the Clash at the Coliseum. Not a fan of that race, but I'm a fan of the cars. I'm a fan of the racing. So ready to get back into that and getting into the swing of things. I finally got my 10 picks for 24 uploaded, so go check that out. I guess I don't know.
Send me
I'm
the
not
link to
gonna-
that.
yeah. Huh?
Send me the link to that.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. You follow me on Twitter, so you could go there, but that's fine.
I didn't know you posted on Twitter.
It's fine. It's fine.
The only time I get on Twitter is to send you guys memes.
I was about to say I send you a lot of posts on Twitter.
Nothing
so-
but reels between us three. Just like send. I think I sent Thomas a cat in a KU jersey the other day.
Oh my goodness.
Honestly, that's pretty much all I interact with you on Twitter for at this point. So definitely, we're gonna keep this going. I think Zoom's a pretty good setup. We don't really have a consistent schedule yet, just because we all got different things going on. So we'll kind of upload them while we can, but we're gonna upload these to my YouTube channel, and we're just gonna keep the fun going. So, on behalf of Thomas Fornes and Kenan Bielovac, my name is Harry Loomis, and it is good to be back. We will see you guys next week, or next time, I should say.
Unsportsmanlike content.